Cell Explorers is a science outreach programme run out of University of Galway. We go out to children around the country really, and we show them science that they might not have had any experience with before. So giving them a chance to meet scientists, to do things themselves in science, and to hopefully show them that science can be something fun and something that they can do themselves.
What we're going to do is we're going to have to separate out the cells and saline from the waste we don't want.
We all work in small groups of maybe 4 or 5, so you might have say 4 or 5 children if you're in school, or you might have a group of say a couple of children and their parents or guardians at a youth event. I think what they really enjoy when they're in the workshop is, especially in schools, it's push all of your work out of the way. Everyone gets a little kit or one between two. You're doing something that's very different to your normal day-to-day. People coming in white lab coats and they're all getting excited about it.
Yeah, you got it, perfect. Yeah, and then put it into your empty seat. That's great.
It's the excitement of being able to do something that they're not used to doing. And then it's also the teamwork and the camaraderie with when they're doing it, that they're all working together and there's this scientist there that's helping them do it, and then they're all getting to bring something home at the end and say look what I did today. And there's more excitement coming from that day of school than the usual Monday to Friday of just school, come home and do homework. It's something different.
So has everyone mushed up their banana? Yeah.
Our flagship workshop would be the Fantastic DNA session. We go into classrooms with a box full of everything they need to do a full DNA extraction. That's an experiment that we do in the lab quite often, and we do this with bananas. It's a very basic scientific process, and we tell them this is something that we do every day for every kind of research.
We start off with the banana itself, and they're like, oh, DNA from a banana, and no one believes that they will actually end up seeing anything there. But then once we reach the step where they make it visible, they're all like, wow, super excited that they just did that.
Yeah.
Is this okay?
Yeah, and do you see anything inside?
Yeah, like little...
Bubbles?
Yeah.
That's DNA.
Fizzy.
So yeah, nice and carefully pour it down this.
In our experiments, we provide them with protocols, and those protocols, they'll state, first step, do this. Second step, do that. Third step, do that. And at the end, after following those steps, they end up with a sample of DNA in a tube, and they get to see the DNA. They'll be like, oh wow, I did this by myself. I guess I can be a scientist, provided I get the correct training. So I think it's very important for Cell Explorers to go there, because it gets to demystify science and actually show students that anyone can become a scientist.
As I mentioned earlier, the DNA is in the cell membrane. So we want to get the DNA out of this nucleus. So
there's not a lot of hands-on science in school, but that's what makes the difference when you're a child, is actually getting to feel like a scientist. And that's something that this experiment does. It's really important. They know they're doing the exact same thing that a real scientist would do in the lab. And they know that they're able to achieve that they're capable of that. As a young person, I didn't feel like science was really for me. So it was great to be affecting other children now and thinking that science can be for them.
Okay, hi everyone. I'm Eoin, and Obadiah is down here, okay? And we're from Cell Explorers. So
when we go out to schools, we state what we are studying, we state that we also have hobbies, and that's very important so that the children can know that we are not locked up in the science lab. We also have other things that we do outside school. We can be in the middle of the experiment and they get to ask me a personal question like, do you have a favorite football team? I'm like, yeah, I support Liverpool, and I also support Barcelona. I'll be like, oh wow, I'm a Messi fan. And that interaction by itself, you know, it's very important for the students, because the idea of the scientists they have is what they see in the movies, and the portrayal of scientists in movies is usually to the extreme. Is either they are very old, they spend all their time in the lab by themselves. Us going there to schools and showing them that scientists can actually have lives outside science. It shows students that it's possible that you can have a life at the same time become a scientist.
All your ethanol in on top. It just really helps to show the different possibilities that they can have from science. If you have a creative side, or if you like working in a team, they are actually aspects that can help you to become a good scientist if you wanted to down the line. And also just that science isn't just working in a lab, science is field work, science is going to work with kids like what we do.
Untitled Explorers did come to our primary school. It was the first time I'd ever held a test tube, first time I'd ever held a pipette, first time I'd seen chemical agents maybe in the tubes that we use, and I still use them today. I got the exposure when I needed it, and I got the right kind of exposure, which was positive. I don't remember many classes from primary school, but I remember that workshop very, very well. And now I'm studying genetics and genomics. So it's kind of come full circle. I'm back in the same university that did this initiative for me.
The research we're doing, we're not just locked up in a lab all day. It has to have an effect on the public, and the public have to be able to see what it is we're doing. The big thing for me is being able to explain and talk about my research to other people that aren't in the lab or that don't completely understand what it is I'm saying if I throw big words at them.
So this one is going to go through and
So what is going to go through and cells is going to go through. Remember what we want to get at the end?
On the side of the
DNA.
Yeah.
I'm a Bachelor of Science student, so in my final year I carried out a research project for my thesis. So at the end of my thesis, after I've submitted, I get to do 30 minutes presentation where there'll be questions and answers. And standing up in front of kids and giving a presentation actually prepared me to stand in front of 2 lectures and give the presentation. I'm telling you, kids are more intimidating than 2 lectures. So that the volunteering aspect of Cell Explorers actually prepared me in giving me the confidence to stand in front of people and give a presentation.
this is going till 5.
So yeah, we need at least to get up.
You need to be able to communicate your research or also general science to not only a scientific audience but the general public. Practicing that with kids is amazing. To zoom out, go back and be able to explain basics and make them accessible and exciting for non-science people is extremely important.
Doing this outreach has taught me how to fully understand my own subject, down to explaining it to a 5-year-old. Like that's an exercise you do to test someone's knowledge. Explain this to me like I'm a 5-year-old. I have to do that now every few weeks when I go into a classroom. To bring things down to a level, to explain it word for word, what is it? How does it work? And we still get caught off guard when we're around children. It's a great exercise. It's helped me a lot. Often the children have the best questions, and it's something that you wouldn't have even asked your lecturer. Those kind of reactions where you know they were thinking about it. Their minds went straight to big questions in science that they're still trying to figure out to this day. And my favorite thing is to tell them, like, we don't know yet, or we don't know, or we won't know for another while. And that's something that they can maybe help in the future figure out.
I scooped so much. Look at that Asia again.
The excitement the kids get out of it is always great, and it makes your day. But I think a highlight for me is finding the slightly more quiet student who's completely taken by what they're doing. They find the science fascinating, and they often ask the biggest questions. So I love answering questions from the person that initially might have taken things a bit slowly.
Like this, and then if you want to open that and pour it all in here.
They might not know any scientists in their family or friends, so maybe sometimes they don't consider that to be an option for them. Meeting scientists and being able to relate to them, that's something to connect to later on when kids think about their jobs or wherever they see themselves. That might be a door opener for later on, so you remember the science thing, that was fun and I was able to do that.
To go back and do these workshops with the children is amazing, because I know these are the future of science. In that classroom you could have any number of them that will end up pursuing science as a future career.
I think this is fine now, yeah.
It's important that the younger generation understands that science is part of their everyday life. So not just to be an active citizen in like a technological world, it's actually about your everyday life, how it comes into when you're cooking at home, how it comes into the sports that you play. That children don't feel isolated from science, so they can grow up actually participating in the conversation of science.
you.